What's up, y'all? It's EKwesco. I'm gonna be doing an album review today of Eminem's 5th album, Encore. It is Eminem's 4th album under Dr. Dre's Aftermath Entertainment, excluding Infinite. Most fans criticize this album and say that it's Eminem's worst. I personally disagree. I like this album. The only exceptions of this album of why it wouldn't be great is a drug-riddled Eminem, and it's very obvious that he's going through a dark time in his life, and filler tracks. The filler tracks, of course, being the result of a drugged-up Eminem being on a lot of pills, going through a lot of different things in his life, fame, stardom, personal things. His uncle had just killed himself that year, and a lot of people just wasn't feeling the subject matter of this album because it was too silly and unfocused. I remember being 7 years old in the 2nd grade whenever this album came out, and I've been begging my dad to buy it for me when it came out because I knew it was coming. So around Christmas time when it actually came out, of course I had a copy and I listened to it front to back so many times. This album has 6 singles, the first being Just Lose It, Like Toy Soldiers, Mosh, Encore, Ass Like That, and Mockingbird. Most versions of this album come with a bonus CD that has 2 mastered tracks that were previously leaked, as well as a bonus freestyle called Ricky Tikki Tok. The first 2 tracks on the bonus CD, We As Americans and Love You More, were found on a mastered tape that was owned by Eminem's brother Nate of Eminem's studio sessions from that year and the previous year. A lot of songs off of that CD were leaked, like some Ja Rule and Benzino disses, some new D12 work, and of course, some tracks from Encore. This album was also released in a deluxe box edition called the Shady Collector's Edition, and it's complete with bonus artwork that wasn't in the original retail edition, full details of the songs, lyrics, and puzzles. This album was recorded from mid-2003 to late 2004. The album was released on November 12, 2004. It was supposed to have been released a few days afterwards, but it leaked on the internet, causing the album to be pushed forward. The album features 50 Cent, Nate Dogg, Obi Trice, Stat Quo, Dr. Dre, and some members of D12. The album is executive produced by Dr. Dre, just like all the rest of his albums. I think it's worth noting that the song Fact was recorded during the sessions of Encore. It is worth noting because I think that it is also one of those filler tracks that I was talking about earlier that people aren't too fond of. The album is mainly produced by Eminem and Dr. Dre, with the normal culprits of instrumentation of Eminem songs being here like Louis Resto.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Louis Resto.
Steve King, also known as Dirty Steve.
On the guitar.
The album continues where the Eminem Show left off, starting the exact same way with the rise of curtains. The crowd is chanting Eminem's name as he gets ready and the curtains rise. He immediately jumps into the energetic song Evil Deeds. The song talks about his early childhood and a lot of the struggles that he has with fame now. The next track, however, sets the tone. The song Never Enough featuring Nate Dogg and 50 Cent offers a very strong production, and Eminem's verse is enough to get you up and listening to what the rest of the track has to offer. Yellow Brick Road mostly focuses on the controversial side of his early beginnings as a rapper, such as what became of the recording of the infamous song Foolish Pride, which Benzino tried to publicize in his magazine The Source earlier that year. The track also talks about how Eminem met Proof. The next song, Like Toy Soldiers, paints a picture of beef and how it has gone too far and people have lost too many things, taken too many losses at the extent of a beef over lyrics and over nothing more than street cred. Eminem states on this track that he's tired of being immature and fighting with the same people over the same things, and it's draining him lyrically and emotionally. After he puts that subject down, the song Mosh comes in and a better subject is brought to light. A more politically charged song. The song has a message that is mainly against George Bush because Eminem didn't think that he was a fit president. He wasn't completely wrong for that because a lot of terrorism was done and not a lot was done about it in the administration of George Bush. So Eminem didn't feel like that was right. And of course, this was around the second election that George Bush ended up winning after the song was recorded, but before the album was released. The next song, Puke, is a melodic freestyle that Eminem did not write down, simply just went and babbled in the studio while he was high, thinking about his ex. My first single is another song where he seems to just be babbling incoherently. The topics seem to change by the line, and sometimes you can't fully understand what he's trying to say because the beat kind of drowns out his tone of voice, and he sounds like a robot. After Eminem is done rambling, Paul Rosenberg chimes in with another classic phone call skit explaining Michael Jackson's displeasure with the Just Lose It video. He ends the call by informing him that Paul heard that Eminem had got a new gun, And around this time that the album had been recorded, Eminem was still on probation for pistol whipping Herrera. This also fits with the album because the album has a tone of Eminem bringing a gun to his show and intending to shoot up the crowd. So when Paul was informed that Eminem got a new gun, it was shocking. But of course this is all satirical and not true, except for the probation part. The next song is Rain Man, which is one of the filler tracks that I was talking about earlier. That is merely a freestyle, weaving in and out of topics that doesn't necessarily have a meaning. It's just a fun song with a Dr. Dre beat that just gets you bobbing your head. The next song, however, is a little bit more immature, on the other side of toilet humor and genitalia, but it's funny at times, and it's got another Dr. Dre beat that's pretty damn good. But what Eminem is saying just really seems like it could have been redone and done so much better on that beat if he would have not been so pilled up during the process of this album. After that's over, Eminem calls Paul back with one of those voice boxes that you get whenever your voice box gets cut out if it's cancerous. He's talking to Paul with his voice box in a very, very dark way about Michael Jackson, weaving in and out of puns in order to come back at some of the things that Paul was saying. Eminem tries to tell Paul that he doesn't have a new gun. Before the skit ends, you can hear him drop a bullet into the toilet while he's taking a shit. And then Just Lose It plays. And of course, everybody knows what that song is. It was all over the radio when it came out. This album came out around the same time Fall Out Boy started having its big rise to fame, so I was definitely listening to this shit more. They can just give you a better instance of the window of time that this was. Ass Like That plays afterwards, and the song is mainly just one big diss to Triumph the Insult Comic Dog. At the beginning of the music video, you can see Eminem on the red carpet and Triumph being all in Eminem's face, saying stuff like, "Do you kiss 50 Cent with that mouth?" And after a physical altercation takes place, Eminem snatches the puppet out of the guy's hand and starts singing the song. I thought this song was very funny. But then the album gets a little more serious and the song Spend Some Time starts. And it's mainly about exes and how women have done you wrong, things like that. But it has a little bit more of a narrative background to it, as Stat Quo, Obi Trice, and 50 Cent put in their 2 cents about females that they've encountered over the years, thus creating a full-length song that has complete substance and focus, unlike its predecessors on the album. Mockingbird then starts gracefully playing as Eminem says sweet lyrics to his daughter, seemingly to comfort her while her mother is in jail. He tells a story about his rise to fame, which was around the time that she was born, or she had just been born. Afterwards, the song Crazy in Love plays, and he seems to be very, very angry on this song, going off on his ex, letting go all of this anger that he had toward his ex, and spilling out everything that she's ever done to him on this track, while keeping a melodic formula that seems to have a flow to it. Then One Shot, Two Shot plays, and that's a D12 cut that sounds like it could have fit good on the album D12 World. Bizarre Kanava and Eminem are trying to escape St. Andrews Hall during a shooting, while Con Artist and Swiftie are on their way. Afterwards, the concert theme picks back up for the Final Thought skit, in which he is reflecting on his past before loading his pistol for the grand finale. The beat for Encore drops and it's instantly making you want to move. That's consistent and great and catchy. After the song ends, the concert seems to be over, and just when you think he's about to leave, Slim Shady comes out, whips out his gat, and starts randomly firing shots into the crowd. And when everybody's either ran out of the concert or dead on the floor, that's whenever he puts the gun up to his temple, shoots himself. But because he's Slim Shady and Slim Shady is not human, bullets cannot kill him. So he gets back up, puts the voice box to his throat, and says, "See you in hell, fuckers." The bonus disc contains 3 tracks. The first track, We As Americans, was a leak that was found in Eminem's brother's basement. It is another political song focused on George Bush, and also focused on the right to bear arms as well as free speech. The second song, Love You More, can basically be described as a sister song of Crazy in Love. Riggy Tiggy Talk is just a normal freestyle of Eminem just punching lines in with Dr. Dre in the studio one day. The album went on to sell 1.5 million copies in 2 weeks, and as of 2016 it has sold 21 million copies. Encore is the only Eminem album to not win a Grammy, although it was nominated. The album appeared on most top 10 charts despite receiving mixed reviews from critics. And that's it, I just went track by track and reviewed the album Encore by Eminem. I hope you guys enjoyed it. My personal rating of this album would be a 7 out of 10. Let me know what you want me to review next, and if I have it, I'll do it. I got more of these videos coming your way very soon. See you guys later.